Okay, so cheese, right.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't love cheese? I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Right.
Whether it's like a sharp cheddar or like a melty brie,
Mm-hmm.
there's just something about it.
Absolutely.
And we are diving deep today into a book I found called Cheese, the Ultimate Comfort Food.
Oh, interesting.
And we're going to figure out why, of all the foods out there, this one feels like, a warm hug, but you eat it.
I love that. That's a great way to put it, actually, because we spend so much time, I think, talking about the culinary aspects of cheese, how it tastes,
Right.
the textures and all of that, which is all important. But this idea that it really has this deep impact on us,
Yes.
psychologically, socially, all of that, I think, is fascinating.
Absolutely. And one of the things that the book talks about is that cheese can, like, boost your mood.
Right.
Which, I'm not saying to replace therapy with a grilled cheese, but
Right.
maybe there's something there, right?
Well, so, I mean, the book kind of keeps it high level in terms of the science behind it.
Right.
But, we know that dairy products contain tryptophan.
Uh-huh.
And tryptophan is an amino acid that's linked to serotonin production in our brains.
Okay.
And serotonin, as we know, that's a big player in our feelings of happiness and well-being.
So, like, all those times I'm, like, grinning with a grilled cheese,
Yeah.
it's backed up by actual science.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, there's a reason for that cheese grin.
I love it. I love it. But I think, it goes beyond just, like, the chemical reaction that's happening, right? Because
Yeah.
the book talks about this idea of a hug and a bite.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's actual comfort. And I
Yeah.
feel like that is so true about cheese.
Well, and it makes you kind of think about, like, our deeper connection with food in general.
Yes.
And how it impacts us emotionally,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
We attach memories
Yeah.
to certain foods. We attach feelings, cultural meanings, all of that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so certain flavors, certain textures, like that creaminess that you get from a lot of cheeses, it could really evoke this sense of security, even nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Hearkening back to things we might have experienced as kids and feeling very comforted by certain types of foods. And cheese, I think, really fits into that realm.
Absolutely. It's like the edible version of a warm blanket, honestly.
Yeah.
And you know what else? The book also talks about how cheese is such a social catalyst.
Yeah.
It's like the life of the party. If there's a cheese board, everyone's gathering around.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, think about it. Like cheese boards, fondue, like these are activities
Yeah.
that encourage interaction.
Yes.
Right. You're literally like gathered around, you're sharing. It lends itself to that.
Yeah.
And I also think there's something, even going back in history, cheese making was often a very communal activity,
Right.
right? Something that like skills were passed down. And so that spirit of sharing, I think, is almost embedded in it.
I love that. It's like you're sharing like the history and the culture of it, not just like
Exactly.
the cheese itself.
Yeah, it's not just sustenance.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And speaking of cheese being a whole thing, we can't forget about its versatility.
Yes.
This book compares it to both a chameleon and a Swiss Army knife.
I love that because it's true.
In the kitchen,
Yes.
yes,
I mean, it can be a topping, it can be a filling, it can be a sauce, it can be a snack.
literally every
I mean, the options are kind of limitless.
It's true. Like, just the simplest grilled cheese is made better by like a really good cheddar.
Right, exactly.
But then like a souffle, that's all about like that airiness that like cheese can give.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
And it really does, I think, transcend cultural boundaries too.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, think about it from France to Mexico, Japan, Brazil.
Everywhere.
Cheese has a place.
Mhm.
And I think that speaks to that versatility because it really does. It adds these layers of flavor,
It does.
texture, richness,
Yeah.
all of that.
You can't go wrong. Okay, so to summarize, cheese is like amazing for us.
Yes.
It boosts your mood, it's comforting, it brings people together, and it can be used in anything.
It's like a superpower.
It really is. I never thought about it that way.
Well, and so it makes you wonder, right? Like, what if we looked at all food through this lens?
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. What if we really thought about, like, okay, not just what does this taste like, which again is important,
Right.
but how might this comfort me?
Yeah.
How might this connect me to other people?
Yeah.
How might this, even elevate my mood or, contribute to my well-being in some way?
That's actually really cool to think about because we don't often, I think, approach food that way.
We don't, but I think there's a real value in doing so.
Food for thought.
Yes, exactly.
I love it.
A cheesy pun to end on.
Perfect.